Hello, everybody. I'm just resting on this. All right, how are you all doing today on well, here in South Carolina, it is a lovely sunny Monday. I think it's going to be in the 80s today. So, sorry, Canada. Cold Ontario, Canada. Albany, New York says hello, just cleaning out the daisies from the welcome sign. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, that was one of the lessons on my online school. A couple little daisies in the corner and then welcome. Nice. Hi from Westport, Massachusetts. Hello, Mary and everyone from Belgium. Hello from San Diego. Alex checking in from Michigan. Microphone. Thank you, Caleb. Oh no, where are you? It's on the floor. Is that better? Sorry about that. Always something missing. And you got like 10 things to make sure everything is plugged in. Ah, much better. Thank you, Taito Alba. Nobody said anything. Ah, yes. Much better. Okay. Anne from Nova Scotia. Hello from Michigan. Larry in Portland. Hey, Larry, how you doing? Hey, I'm using that sharpening strop a lot because my other one is left in Germany. So I've been actually I put some stropping compound on it, some green stuff, and it's working well. Looking great. Durham, North Carolina, Hilton Head. Okay, greetings. Upstate New York, hello from Canada. Well, hello everybody. Just a little bit of an update. We finished the our first Zoom class, and I carved. Oh, I don't have it in here. I carved 2 oak leaves. I wonder where I put those. Nope. See, I'm tethered to here right now, so I can't go wandering around. 2 overlapping oak leaves. You can see it on my Instagram page. And so Florida School of Woodwork, Kate Swan, she and I conspired. Let me just make this larger. She and I conspired to do a Zoom class. Now, it's funny, you say Zoom class, it sounds actually like an exercise class. It reminds me of, I think it's Zumba or something. I thought, wow, wouldn't that be interesting? A carving and exercise class at the same time. I thought, well, who knows, if work gets really, really tight, maybe I'll start opening up that possibility. But no, it's a Zoom class, that interactive live conference calling, and we had 8 students, and it was very successful. So yeah, look on my Instagram page. You can see pictures of a little screen with everybody's picture on it and showing the carving. It went really well, and so we're going to be planning on doing that again. I don't know when, but we're discussing maybe doing a little bit more of a complex project. The one that we did was you actually lower the background down, and the next one I think we're going to do, everybody will be cutting it out on a scroll saw or a bandsaw, or if they don't have that, I'll be cutting it out for them. So we'll have enough time to sort of prepare that. And yeah, we did it on Saturday morning, and then we did it 2 or 3 evenings during the week for 2 hours. And then we had time, they had time to work on little projects as we went. Yeah, and it went really, really well. So, when things get back to normal and I start traveling a little bit, that'll probably go away a bit. But I have a feeling we'll probably still continue to do that to some extent, because it does make it available for people. They're in their own workshop, and they were able to sort of get the cameras angled so we could see close-ups, and I was able to do my close-ups, and it worked really, really well. So we're going to try that again. We just sort of dove in at the deep end and figured it out as we went, but I think it went well. Okay, here we go. 3D Sam, hello, Canada. It's cold up there, I hear. It's nice and warm here. Okay, let's see. Hello from Connecticut. Raymond here in Pensacola. All right. Well, welcome everybody again. Thank you for joining me, and I am going to go ahead and start carving. Continuing on, let me get smaller. You don't want to see me, you want to see the carving. All right, so I do have this sort of distant view, so you can kind of see what's going on from a distant, and then I've got a close-up shot. So what I'm going to be working on today is the scarf area, and then I'll start to shape a little bit of the hair around it. And the interesting thing is when you're talking about drapery and cloth is really quite a challenge to carve. So if you look at this, now this is just it's actually one of the lessons on my school, and this is just a really beautiful design, very traditional design of this drapery as it kind of twists and rotates. And if this was just a bunch of V-cuts coming down, and it wouldn't quite show what is necessary. But there's some real tricks to carving drapery into making it look like it's realistic. And so along the drapery edge here also. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little secret. All right, here we go. Got Raymond, Pensacola. Hi from Pennsylvania. Ouch, what is that? AC Bellevue. Is that talking about the 80-degree weather here? Ouch. Mike checking in from Oroville, California. All right, welcome everybody. I wanted to show you what you can do if you're going to be carving drapery. It's always good to have something to see, something that you can actually make as a model to copy. AC Bellevue, yes. You're up in Canada? Raining and cold there. Oh no! I'm sorry. So, have you seen, and you really need to look at this, you need to look at the on the internet for like carved baseball caps, carved jackets. I know Chris Pye has got a couple of those where you basically have this thing hanging on a hook, and you've got your jacket hanging like this. And so here, hold on a second, let me get back big again so we can see what I'm talking about here. So if you're talking about this, you're hanging this up, and you see the drapery or the folds all along here. It's very, very subtle, and if you just hang that there and don't touch it, you can actually carve that. And there's a lot of people out there who are doing that type of work where you just have something, just the sort of wrinkled up pile, or like that, and then you just copy exactly what you see. And again, there are some real tricks. So imagine if you're like taking something like that. Do you see what happens as it splays out? You've got a point there, pinched point, and then it splays out, and you've got these very soft curves. Gets a little tighter, gets a little closer together as it comes to the top. And so unless you really study it, what happens is you just end up doing a bunch of V-cuts and, not really understanding the whole shape of cloth. So studying it is really, really good. And also another possibility is taking that, hang it, and take a piece of clay and then shape it so you can understand it. Take a piece of clay and copy it exactly. It's a little faster. You can, especially with that shape where you're sort of long lengths of it, just take a block of clay and start shaping it. And then again, it'll help you understand those very, very subtle shapes on drapery. Now there's also something, and I haven't tried this, but I'm gonna do this. But if you take a piece of silk and you dip it in sugar water. And then if you drape it over something, maybe drape it over a point, it'll hang down. And now I haven't tested this, but it's sugar water. The sugar, I guess, causes it to stay a little harder. So when it dries, it stays in its position. And the only way I know this is because I was traveling in Bulgaria many years ago, and you go to these wonderful little craft markets, and you get these laces, like circular laces, and they're shaped like a bowl comes up like that, and then the lace goes over the top, but it's all lace. And so my guess, this is how I figured that they did it, they got the lace in, dipped it in sugar water, draped it over a bowl or a shape, something round, the bottom of a glass or whatever. And so that's what forms the bowl shape, and then you spread it out like that and then let it dry. And the funny thing is, the only reason, the only way I know that it was actually sugar water is, I don't know what, I obviously wasn't eating the thing, but something caused me to either, I don't know, lick my fingers or something while I was, it's a beautiful little delicate lace bowl. Anyway, so I'm like, why are my fingers sweet? And sure enough, and there was so I'm guessing that's what it is. I haven't tried it, and it's been years since I did that, so I think I will try that. Take a little bit of silk, dip it in sugar water. I have no idea how much sugar to put into it, but anyway, so I'm going to try that. And then it can hold, and it can be this very sturdy, immovable sculpture that you can see. Okay, clay, you can fix your mistakes. Yes, you can always fix them on wood too. It just changes the design a bit. Yeah, the thing is too, clay you can add on to, you can take off, and yeah, so a lot more flexibility. Spray starch works too. Okay, so yeah, so you get that cloth in that position, and then you can spray that, and will hopefully hold. Okay, so anyway, that is what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be working on a lot of stuff here. Whoops, hold on. I'm trying to get me out of there again. Get me small. Okay. All right, so what I did, this is the edge. If you can see on this one, do you see that right there on the lower one? Tell me if that picture is too small. I may have to just, on the large one, actually have both of them visible. I'm not sure if that's going to work or not. But anyway, this is the edge of the little headscarf. So cream too small. Okay, let me just see if I can do a little bit of adjusting. I was trying to do some close-ups, but I'm not sure if it really is necessary. Bear with me. Yeah, I think it's better actually at this point to move you over here and smaller. And all of my computer stuff is showing up there. There we go. There. All right, so you can still see kind of a distance. Okay, so at least you can kind of see what is happening here, and I can refer to that a little bit easier. Now, the one thing that is happening a little bit that, hold on. Sorry, just gonna do a little bit more adjusting. Sorry. Okay. One thing that's happening, and I don't know if you can see that, but there is a glue line right there. That's where this is the edge of the top piece, and then the bottom piece was like that. All right, so I'm discovering as I start doing some of the more details that I didn't have enough wood there. All right, so that nice little curl there is not going to be happening there. It should be sticking out further. So that was one of the little miscalculations of this little hook there. So it's going to be a little bit of a design change, but not that big of a deal. So I'm going to just go ahead and start to shape that. But if you look at this, this is actually a pretty flat surface. So the scarf that she's wearing, it's not like silk. It's more of a thicker cloth that as it comes down here, it goes straight. And same thing here, it kind of curves there, but then it really does go quite straight. So this is pretty much the surface of this one. Now, if this was like some very, very thin silk, it would just be draping fully like this, and it wouldn't actually be kind of sticking out like that. So this is obviously a much thicker piece of cloth, and this is a number 710. It's a smaller number 7 that I normally use, but as I start to get into some of the more details of this, I don't want to take too much away. Okay, so if you look, I'm gonna have to back up. Sorry about this. I have to back up a little bit more and show her, because I want to show the, I'm gonna have to back this camera up now. Okay, what I'm trying to do is show how the actual shape of the scarf is. You see this almost like a bandana that actually there's like this surface there that curls around like that. Okay, and so that's what I've got here, straight there, and just curls around like that. Oops, hold on, something's happening. What did I do? Hold on. Hey, hopefully that will come back soon. Hi, in the meantime. In the meantime, I am going to attempt to entertain you. Should I tap dance? Oh, come on. Let's see what is going on here. I wonder if in the process of doing that I bumped it or something. Ah, there we go. There we go. Okay, get me out of there quick. Okay, so as I said, there's a sort of like a bandana shape there, and then it starts to bunch up there. But you see there, that's what I've got here, a V-cut there. And I probably need to actually take it in a little bit further. Looking quite wide. So I'm just taking this V-chisel. That's going to be the edge. And then we've got little curl of hair coming in here. All right, how are we doing? Gremlins, yes. Gremlins unplugging all my stuff. Is the online class ended or still available? It has ended, but we're talking about starting another one possibly in another month. So I'll be mentioning it. I'll have it on my website, and also the Florida School of Woodwork will be advertising it also. But yeah, it went really well, and you know, the Zoom works really well for that kind of interactive teaching and carving. And you know, the fact is, when I'm carving, it's I'm in pretty much one spot, and so it worked out really well that way, where I didn't really have to, you know, have a camera chase after me too much. Because I can imagine some type of woodworking, if you end up, you know, you're moving all over the workshop, you're going to table saw, you're going to this, that would be a real challenge. You'd have to have somebody really making sure that they're kind of following you around and making sure that all that's working. But the carving, I just set up the camera and talked through it. And so what we did was actually, I did one step, and then I'd show one step, and then I'd let everybody kind of work on that step, and then I'd go on the next one, and then we go on the next one. So it was very guided. And then at the end of the 2-hour session, everybody just, had a particular thing to finish up that they could work on at home, or they're already at home, so work off camera. And it really, really worked very well. Okay, Luca, will you post the information on your email notifications? Yes, I definitely will. If you're getting my newsletter, I will let you know what's going on with that. Yeah, we're trying to set up something for possibly maybe the first or second week in June. The difficulty is it's my 20th wedding anniversary, June 3rd, and we're going to attempt to escape somewhere if they let us. And I don't know if they're going to let us. It's those they people that we can actually get out of the house and do something. I thought, wow, what a time for anniversary. So I'm sort of leaving this week or two, in between. It's June 3rd is the anniversary, so have to leave some place there. Okay. Congratulations. I hope you'll be able to. I hope so too. 20 wonderful years. Very adventurous years. Jim, hi, Mary from Michigan. Do the students for the Zoom class have to have cameras as well? You don't have to have cameras, but you do need to have either a cell phone that you can hook up to the Zoom program, and it's very easy if you've just got an Android or iPhone. And what some of the people did was have two. So they had their cell phone that could do close-up, and then they had their camera, which they could watch on a larger screen, because certainly watching on a larger screen is easier just to see what I'm doing. But all they did was use the camera that's actually on the laptop. So it worked well. And so some people used both, some people only used one. And no, you don't need anything fancy, nothing, no high-end cameras or anything like that. I guess it would probably help, but it's not necessary. Okay, so this is curling around there, and what I'm going to do is, so that's coming up to that point. Then there's one other little fold right there that, so you notice how all of these folds come together and get really tight right underneath here. So all of this is going to curl around. There's a fold right there. So I'm going to start these folds with a V-chisel. But then it's going to be a little bit softer. So start right here. And then that sort of folds in or blends in with this one, and that just disappears down there. And then there's another one that comes from here. and then that curls around under there. Okay. All right. Jim, to students. Okay. Anything else? Questions? Okay. Now what I'm going to do here, this hair, because there's still a little bit of flexibility with the face and the scarf and the hair, I'm going to just do a little bit of rounding of this, kind of some highs and lows. I don't want to do too much of the shaping of the hair, but really it's just more kind of getting the start of it. So that it really doesn't get in the way of what I'm trying to do. And you notice at this point, this is still really rough. Obviously, I'm not even worried about the tool marks. I'm not worried about leaving the tool marks because there's going to be a final surfacing. Right now, I'm just really trying to find the locations of everything. So I'm not worried at all about leaving all these tool marks right now. Okay, I'm probably getting in the way. Okay, now I'm back to the number 714. And since this is going right across the grain, that's a really hard wood to get through. 2-pound cut. Saw your IG post about the ship. Amazing. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was my husband and his family back when, well, he was in his early 20s, built this 100-foot tall ship. Yeah, it was quite an amazing thing. I wish that would have been a lot of fun to have been involved with all of that. They built a tall ship and it ended up they ended up taking it down through Canada and down the east coast of the US, doing reenactments and battles and things. Yeah, would have been fun to be a part of that. That was before my time, though. Luca, what wood are you carving on this project? This is basswood. This is I had some large blocks of basswood sitting around, and she was just begging to be carved. All right, this whole area back here is going to be hollowed out. So I'm dealing with this part under here. So this is going to be a really large fold, and that's where that fold is going to be right there. So I could either wait to do this sort of undercutting because it's a little awkward, but since I can reach it, I think it's okay. I can wait till later, but it's actually kind of nice to really get rid of a bunch of wood. Okay, so that's coming down there. This really does need to go quite tight against there. All right, Luca, you're welcome. Rob went to see the tall ships gathering at Moorhead, North Carolina a few years ago. Lots of beautiful woodwork and carving. Oh, yes. Yes, incredible. Especially the ones that are historically accurate with all of the details. It's pretty amazing. So one day, waiting for some person who's building a tall ship, One day I want to build one of those mastheads, and who knows, maybe Lady Jane would be a perfect masthead for that. You know, big ship with the figure on the front, the mermaid, you know, that type of thing. Maybe that'll be the next project after Lady Jane gets finished. Yes, the figurehead. Yeah. Yes, one day. There's just not that many people building tall ships these days, so I need to, you know, find somebody who's building a tall ship and then propose that. Yeah, we were going through a bunch of old photographs, and we came across a bunch of the photographs of the tall ship. And I thought, you know, that's really neat to show. And what was really neat was that I saw, if you saw the pictures on Instagram, there was a picture of my husband as he was carving this really big rope. And this was way before I met him, and he was actually carving. I thought, that's why it works so well. I knew there was that thing. So he carved a lot of the details on the outside of the ship. Okay, TW, I think when all this nonsense is over, you would be great at the wooden boat show at Mystic Seaport. You know what? There's been a couple times where wooden boat schools, I've tried to get sort of set up where I teach a carving class, because there's so much of that, you know, when you're talking about carving signs, anything to do with anything to do with the sign making, and, you know, maybe some shells or something like that. And we've been trying to figure that out. Maybe up in Maine, there's a school up there. There is one in Georgetown, I believe. Georgetown, South Carolina. So, you know, that's sort of out there, because there's a lot of common things that would really kind of fit together. Okay, Selena from Nevada, what carvings do you make for yourself or end up deciding to keep because you really like them? Well, this one is for myself, and so I have a feeling I'm going to probably find some place to put her here. You know, the difficulty is doing things for yourself. It's very hard to actually get them done, because, you know, you can do it whenever you want. There's no real deadline, and that's the problem. Sometimes it's really good to have that pressure of a customer, just to actually know when you have to have it done. If you're just doing it for yourself, there isn't that external pressure. So sometimes when I'm doing something for myself, I have to make that external pressure. And sometimes when I'm doing something for myself, I have to do it, well, okay, this is going to be a gift for somebody, so then I really have to do it. And then, of course, you have to promise it to that person so that pressure is still there, that external pressure. And yeah, it just, it's hard sometimes doing something for yourself, because I've got several projects lying around my workshop that are just sitting here begging to get finished. But you know what's interesting? This one's probably going to get finished because you guys are watching this, because it's the pressure, you know, every day. Okay, well, do a little bit more, a little bit more. And otherwise, there's not that external pressure, you see? I can't let you down, you know? See, that's where the pressure is. It's perceived pressure, but it's pressure. Okay, Newport, Rhode Island. Hello, William. The Cisne Branco naval training ship from Brazil sticks in my memory as it was just loaded with mahogany and carvings. Oh, yes, I can imagine. Yes, Brazilian, any of those old. I mean, these were functional ships. These are really just utilitarian things, but boy, did they know how to decorate it. It didn't matter if it was a warship, didn't matter what it was. It just loved the decorations on it. It really put a lot of effort into just making it absolutely beautiful. You know, it's interesting too. You look at some things that were made, you know, 70, 80 years ago, very functional things. I was fascinated when I was looking at an old sewing machine. One of those beautiful old sewing machines that are, you know, foot pedal. The actual cabinet was absolutely gorgeous, but this was a very functional machine. But they cared about what it looked like. They really were very, very much wanting it to just be a beautiful piece on itself, not only useful. And you just don't see that very much now for machines and things. You know, now, you know, the sewing machine is this big thing there's nothing pretty about it. Very functional, but there's nothing attractive, nothing decorative. So it seemed like they used to really care a lot more about the decorative parts of just anything that used daily. And they had the cast iron that was just beautiful, little filigree and details. And I don't know. I don't know when we lost that. Probably in the Industrial Revolution, where the whole idea was just to produce, get it out there quickly as possible. Okay, this M. Shav. That is so true. Good morning. Good morning. All right, TW. Oh, you must be somewhere on the West Coast. Brooklyn, Maine wooden boat show is fantastic. Even carving on decks in and out rails. Oh yeah. All right, U.S. Constitution had decoration. Yeah, we all have those little projects sitting in our workbenches. Yes. Yeah, we do. What type of carving or whittling could a person do that have no strength in my hands? Well, you know, the thing is, it does require that strength, but the whole thing with this carving is actually both, I'm using both hands, so you're kind of taking pressure on with both hands. So probably this type of carving would be easier than actual whittling, because what happens with a whittling, you take and you've got a you know, your right hand or left hand, whichever one, but you're doing a lot of strength from that one hand and twisting. So with this, you know, you're doing it basically using both hands all the time. And I mean, this is my assumption that it sort of divides it up between the two hands. I don't know exactly if that's really that accurate, but it seems like it would. What you might want to also try, depending on, you know, what you're wanting to carve, is you may want to try using a mallet. And because you're not actually putting the pressure on it, you're just holding onto a mallet and using it. Still requires some strength in your hands, but and you may want to also, if you're just wanting to do sort of sculptural work, you may want to try something in clay. Again, I was mentioning that earlier, just to do get the idea of the shapes and all that, get that down. And then you can test it. Now I would suggest if you don't have a lot of strength in your hands, definitely work on something, a type of wood like basswood, because it is a much softer wood than, say, something like walnut or mahogany, something like that. Okay, so do you see what I'm doing right here? Got a little bit of a dip right there, and that's what I'm trying to do here. Let's see, so there's going to be a peak there. That's the edge there. There's going to be a high edge there. Okay, so I think that's going to work. Okay, let's see. Okay, Rob says the old Singer treadle machines had gold pin striping and pretty castings. Yes, I've got one of those in my kitchen. Raisin Brand for Life is now hosting you. Thank you. When we go down roads of being on Twitch and doing all this, I'm not quite sure what that means, but thank you, Raisin Brand for Life. I think that's a good thing. Okay. All right, Rob. Small scale power carving wouldn't take much hand. That's a good point, actually. Yes, if you have, if you want to do that, use something like a Dremel, or they also have these, they call them Fordhams. It's really aggressive Dremel tool. Really, really aggressive. And almost like a dental tool. That kind of real spinning at very, very high speeds. But yeah, that's a good point. That would probably be better if you don't have a lot of strength in your hands. And but if you're going to do that, you really need to make sure that you wear good breathing equipment and masks, because it gets very, very dusty. Okay, here we go. Small scale M-Shav. Yeah, it makes it hard. Maybe just do soaps. Yeah, soap carving's fun too. Get little pretty decorative soaps. Kramer, mallets give good control. Yeah, and you don't necessarily have to have a really big, heavy mallet either. Something light, maybe 1 pound, something like that. Chisel carving is much easier on the hands and knuckles than whittling is. Completely different pressure, and it's interesting because we've got a local carving club here that I go to their meetings every once in a while. I'm not very good at going to meetings, but but you doing this polling, and it's interesting. After I carve that way for about maybe 15 minutes, I'm like, wow, that's really hard. And here I am carving daily as a career, but discover that whittling actually takes completely different muscles. Okay, you made it look so simple with the flower you did the other day. Well, thank you. Well, it takes a little time to get to that point. You know, you just got to put the time in and get comfortable with all the techniques and the tools and the wood and grain direction and all of that. Okay, ever have a bad piece of bass? Yes. You can really end up getting just a big knot sometimes. Yeah, and there are sometimes when the wood itself is maybe a bit rotten, and you're not really prepared for it, and so that can really cause some issues. Just with you know, what happens is it gets kind of spongy. Like if you ever have like black streaks across basswood, usually if you hit that area, it's either a rotten part of the wood that'll just turn into sponge, or it actually does the reverse sometimes. It actually gets very hard. So it really depends on what's causing it, whether it is an actual fungus or rot. But yeah, usually if there's some sort of discoloration that's like a streak, it's going to end up affecting the quality of the carving wood, and it's kind of unpredictable at that point. Okay, M. Shav, I enjoyed watching the video of the man doing designs on boxes. Oh, we got a cat here. Yeah, that was Peter Follansby. He's a lot of fun. We're definitely going to have him back. Bob Van Dyke from Connecticut School of Woodworking is going to be here on Thursday. Show us fan shading and inlay, which is a completely different art, but really fascinating. See, I have to be careful of sort of not wanting to venture in every possible direction of woodworking. I have to sort of hold back because there's so many areas you could go. All right, we've got a cat that's wanting to jump up here, and I'm just a little nervous right here because I've got a bunch of tools on my bench and I can't reach him right now. I'm going to just cover up my tools with this shirt just in case he decides to, yeah, because he'll jump. He will just take one big flying leap and all my chisels will go flying, and yeah, not a pretty sight. Okay, do you see what's happening there? Got a little bit of a funny corner, but getting the idea of that. Let's take my V-chisel. See, all of this then, as it comes into this area, it just all folds together and just bunches up. Now, the thing that I'm a little concerned about, and the reason I've sort of not wanting to really fully do all this and complete, because there's still a little bit of movement, a little bit, I still have to get me out of here so I can see what's going on. There's the hair here, all right, which is all of this. And then there's the face, and I'm sort of avoiding the whole face thing right now. So I'm like having this area and deal with this. But once I get this really good and accurate, then I can deal with the hair, and then I can go back to the face. There's just so many things, so many ways that the face can go wrong. So now a lot of this is just simply going to have to take some time. See, if I rush it, then first of all, it's very easy to take too much away and kind of lose track of the design in the process also. Okay, I have, yes, I think it was spalted. Very punky, didn't work out. Yes, spalted anything is not great for carving. And spalted is basically fungus in a wood. And I actually was teaching up at Mark Adams School of Woodworking one time, and there's a woman, Siri Robinson, I believe is her name. She is a scientist out in Oregon, and she actually studies spalted wood. She's a wood turner, and she wrote a book on spalted wood. It's a huge book. I didn't know there was that much information you could have on spalted wood, but she's a scientist, so it's all this scientific information on spalting, how to spalt it yourself and all that, because when you turn, you could really do some gorgeous designs of the spalting, and spalting is just a lot of color. Sometimes it ends up being, there's a cat, ends up being reds and greens and purples and all sorts of things, and she actually shows how to make it particular color. All right, this is Tigger. I think if you're going to be good, you can stay there, right? But be good. What do you think? I'm not sure about this. I'm going to start attacking my wood chips. He's just watching. Mary, I'm going to try and send you a link to a project we're doing at Herreshoff Museum of the wooden steam launch. The carvers who are following you might like to see the museum. Okay, now you won't be able to add any URL link into the chat, so try emailing me, marymaycarving@yahoo.com. You can just send it there, because you probably that's just one of those, I guess, spam things for the Twitch channel. If people put any kind of URL links, that will get deleted. It's an automatic thing. Okay, let's just see. This needs to go quite a bit deeper. I don't know if you can hear him. Yes, this is my shop supervisor. He's very, very conscientious, aren't you? You pay so much attention. Yeah, well, he's a pretty good kitty, but he definitely likes to be involved. I know I cannot send in chat. I was going to send to Mary May. Yeah, go ahead and just send it to my my email. He's chasing after the little wood chips that are flying. Oops, sort of rocking a bit. Excuse me. Okay, so do you see what I'm doing right there? And Tigger, you're kind of in the way. Move out of the way, lay down or something. So this is kind of a raised area right here, sort of a bump. So we've got a little bit of a high spot there, does the fold, and then it splits off. So the trick then is to have this nice little bend right there, ending right there. So we've got, I'm going to try to work on that, keep that area raised up, and then there. So there's going to be this. Okay, there you go. Settle down. But at the same time, all right, now you're laying on my pencil. If you look at this, there's a line there, there's a line there, and there's a line there, and they are very close to being parallel. Right now, this one is kind of going a little bit like that. So that, in order to kind of make it look like it's all working in the right direction, just need to make that little raised area a little straighter. Oh, knock you in the face with a, and then, so this one then, just going to take that V-chisel, shift it over a little bit further so that it kind of redirects. I think that's going to look more natural. Got to put my chisels on the other side. You see how much we accommodate for you? I'm actually changing the position of my gouges. It's amazing what we do for our animals. You better not get too close there. You're making me a little nervous. Oops, sorry, keep getting in the way of the camera, I bet. And then so there's still this real scooped in area right there, and that's the scooped in area right there. And that bends around. The actual hollow extends a little further into towards the top of the head. It is funny when you have a cat hanging out on your workbench, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't aim in that direction. I'm actually re-angling my cuts because of my cat. Okay, Tumash, hello from Bradford, UK. Yeah, my dog is very jealous when I spend too much time carving and I don't pay attention to it. I know, I know. All right, CTK, thanks again. Thank you, CTK. What type of finish will you put on her? That's a good question. I really don't know. I might just end up putting an oil, maybe like a boiled linseed oil, something like that. I'm not really sure, but I've got a little bit of time to think about it. And you know what? It's going to end up depending on where or how the finished surface looks. If there's a lot of knots that I discover, so far it's pretty good. If there are a lot of knots, then I may end up wanting to just make it more of an antiqued look. A little bit of maybe an oil finish might just sort of bring a little bit of a warmer color to it. So I'm not sure. I'll have to think about it. And I may take a little bit of a small piece of this particular wood of one of the cutoffs and kind of test it and see. So let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna probably have to rotate this next time around, but I'm liking the look of the way these are all folding and curling in. And yeah, I think we're good. So let's see, it's about that time. So I will be back again tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and I think probably what I'll do is start bringing it all together, you know, finishing up the neck, finishing up the face, or at least, you know, doing some finalize. I'm not going to be finishing things for a while, but at least bring them all a little bit more refined, a little bit more closer to that final shape. And you can see, if you've been watching this whole process, working here, working here, working here, working here, I'm resisting finishing anything. Even this is almost too finished, except that I'm pretty secure that that's going to be that final shape, because there's a possibility that as I work around to the face again, that maybe the position here, maybe I miscalculated there, and then it's going to make it look like the head is too far up or whatever. You know, they all have to work together, and that's why I'm sort of jumping around a lot and not really committing to any of that final shape. So anyway, so tomorrow I'm going to just continue to work. What I might do is just off camera, I'll probably end up rounding that just because that's going to be more sort of heavy duty mallet work and doing some of the details there. So anyway, well, thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock. And anybody else have any other questions? Rachel, George, Mary, do you ever use a chip carving knife? I noticed you did a chip carving in one of your projects but used gouges. Yes, my chip carving is not real traditional chip carving. I used a V-chisel and a flat chisel, and so it's completely different technique. But I don't usually use the knives. I'm not comfortable with them. I'm much more comfortable holding, you know, a gouge with both hands. And I'm just, and it, you know, like I was mentioning before, the strength that is needed in your hands is completely different for chip carving and that type of sort of pulling the knife. Completely different technique and different muscles. Um, but yeah, I mean, you know, however, however you get it done. Now, did you see the guest a couple weeks ago, Marty Leanholtz? He did a chip carving lesson, so you might want to take a look at that. Really incredible work, just this very, very delicate work, but just using one knife. So look back and try to find that if you haven't seen that one. He also has a lot of YouTube videos. Okay, TW, I'm waiting to see how you deal with the glue joint. Well, it's pretty much right there. It's not really going to be dealing with it much. Just try and hope that it doesn't switch grain on me right at the glue joint. Yeah, there's really not much to do with it. You may, if it does switch right at the glue joint, you might have to just do cross grain cuts, and then it'll let you get through that. So hopefully it won't be that much of an issue. All right, thank you. Another great hour. See you tomorrow. All right, Kramer, thank you. See you tomorrow. All right, Rob says, thank you. Marion Tigger. Yeah, he's still hanging out here. You can kind of see this fur here. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Happy carving, everybody.